I've become like increasingly concerned with how few people realize how precarious, how dangerous the situation is in this country and in the world in general. Like right now, today in real time, how dangerous things are. All right. I'm also concerned with how few people on the left in the Democrat Party realize that like their party, the Democrat Party, has basically been hijacked. It's not the same anymore, in case you haven't recognized this. Like, it's not the same. It's not the party, it's not your grandfather's party anymore. It's not the party of JFK anymore. It's become like the party of the weird and the bizarre, the strange. All right? It's become something, I don't even know how to explain what it is, but it's certainly not what it was really even like 20 years ago. That's for sure. You want to read something wild? Read in the Bible, read Romans 18 through 32. All right? You read that, and you try to tell me after you read that that's kind of not like spot on with what's been going on in the world today. Try me. Do that. All right? And honestly, unfortunately, in this time where people need Jesus like a lot, it seems like they're kind of running in the other direction, a lot of people. All right? As the time gets more and more evil and crazy, like people need God more. All right? It's my opinion. Okay? And they should be running towards him, not away from him. But I digress. Okay? And getting back to like the political end of things. All right? I get tired of people that basically like despise Trump, all right, but like refuse to acknowledge or believe that like when you take away his extremely intense personality and the things that you don't like that he's tweeted or said in the past, all right, and just combine like record to record between him and Biden, when you just do that, like you cut all the fluff out, okay, when you just do that, Trump wins hands down. It's like no contest, all right? I mean, three things in general, just to be quick. The southern border, inflation, which is like bordering on hyperinflation, all right? And the fact that there's now like multiple major wars in the world, all right, that did not happen under Trump, all right? Those things weren't going on under Trump. And any one of those three things could sink our country. Any one of them could. And they're very serious issues, like hugely serious issues. All right? I'm not going to sit there and say I like everything that Trump has ever said. I do not. Not everything he said, for sure. All right? I'm not going to try and like go proclaim that he's never done a wrong thing. All right? Christ alone could claim that. But what I am saying is that between the two men, you got to try to like look past your emotion. You have to try to do that and recognize that the country of today is far different in a very bad way than the country of 4 years ago. And just start to think about these things. And honestly, I'm getting tired too of like how they will constantly try to refer to Trump as being a racist or whatever, when Biden for sure has at the least racist tendencies. And that is provable. All right, that's a provable thing. All right, the man sponsored the 1994 crime bill, or crime act, or whatever it was called, okay, which basically like heavily impacted African Americans in particular in terms of like increasing incarceration rates, dramatically increasing them. He sponsored that bill. All right. He also said once that forced busing to desegregate schools would cause like his children to have to grow up in a quote racial jungle. All right, that's our president. He said those words. You can look it up. All right, and if you don't believe it, just ask Kamala Harris, the vice president, who personally said when she was debating Biden for the presidency, how basically that itself hurt her, like it negatively impacted her. It was something that like in her youth directly affected her. All right. The guy he was very close friends with two senators named John Stennis and Strom Thurmond, who were like staunch segregationists. Okay? He eulogized Senator Robert Byrd in 2010, who was, get this, an exalted cyclops. Whatever that means, okay? But he was, I'll just give you a hint. He was a part of that group of the guys that wear like white robes and pointy white hats and burn crucifixes. All right, that's who Senator Byrd was. Biden eulogized that guy when he died. They were tight friends. The exalted cyclops, okay? And he's always trying to claim too that like the Republicans are trying to cut Social Security. All right, he's always trying to make this claim. But just go on YouTube. You'll see that that Biden, many times himself, stood on the Senate floor and spoke against it. When Bernie Sanders was running against him in 2020, look up their debate. Sanders asked him directly about this. And he lies, of course. He says he never said the things, but look him up. So every time he tries to sit there and paint the Republicans with that brush, it's a lie. All right? Or it's at least something that he has done himself many times and pushed hard for. All right? And then there's a dementia thing. All right? This makes me mental. This makes me crazy because, like, I'm super tired of people on the left not acknowledging the fact that the man is mentally, cognitively compromised. It's a fact. Everybody knows it. Just acknowledge it. Just like cop to that fact. Like, you know it is. Why can't you just say it? Right? Because they're liars. And he's probably compromised in a lot more ways too. All right, which we'll probably get into in another video. All right, but in terms of the dementia thing, it's so obvious. And everybody knows it. What do you think the intel agencies in other countries think about that? You think they don't sit there and try to game that to their advantage? They absolutely do. Absolutely. They gauge him. They gauge his capabilities. They gauge where he's at cognitively all the time. And they know he's not all there upstairs. Just look at a video of him from even 10 years ago. And then look how he speaks today and how he carries himself today. It's night and day. And that's the man who has the nuclear codes. That's the man who has trailing behind him in like real time every day. A man with a briefcase. The nuclear football, as they call it. All right? Which is another bizarre thing to probably talk about in another video. All right? That's who has that guy trailing behind him at all times, pretty much. A cognitively impaired old man. It's a nightmare, yo. And this is just like a short list. This is just a little list of things. I could go on about this. I go on more things. But we'll just cut this video right here, all right? It's just something to stew on and think about, all right? Peace.